All right, hey guys, be gentle on me. This is the first one. We're going to get you started with a 4-minute warm-up. In that warm-up, we're going to be repeating 6 alternating Spider-Mans. Remember to take your time with those. Go nice and slow to feel the stretch out. 6 sit-ups, 6 crunch heel touches, and 10 jumping jacks. Those heel touches, you're going to be crunching up and then rocking side to side. Just keep your eye on the video for the movement. All right, you guys, now that the warm-up is done, we're going to move into mobility. So go ahead and find some space on the floor, and we are going to start with a pigeon stretch on each side. Once you've found some space, if you need something to prop up under the hip, like an ab mat, you can certainly use that. You see me demonstrating that, and Brandy's going to demonstrate a more upright position with nothing underneath her hips. We jump into this here, and we'll go a minute on each side, keeping those hips straight. Make sure you're not falling off to the side. That's what that ab mat or pillow would be for, to prop up those hips. You'll see me dropping down and laying flat on the floor, and Brandy's demonstrating that more upright position. Now, as we hold this, we want to breathe through it, be nice and relaxed, make sure that we're letting our body just kind of ease into things here. About 15 seconds left. All right, and we're going to go ahead and transition to that other side and do a full minute on this side as well. Remember, keeping those hips straight, letting that body fall forward if you need to, relax into it. All right, about 10 seconds left, guys. When we do transition, we're just going to flip things over. All right, and we're going to turn over and take a seat on our butt, lay back flat. You're going to draw that knee up into the chest, just one knee, and then cross the body with that leg at 90 degrees. Now, what you're going to notice here, if you look closely, is that we're more concerned about the shoulders staying flat on the floor than we are about the leg getting all the way to the floor on the other side. If your leg touches the floor but your shoulder lifts up off of it, then we're kind of missing the point here. Just let that leg be at whatever height you need to so the shoulders can stay flat, and keep breathing through the movement. Then you're going to go ahead and switch sides, get a minute in on the other side. Again, remembering to keep those shoulders flat on the ground. It does not matter if the leg can make contact or not. Almost there, guys, about 15 seconds. All right, and let's go ahead and start easing out of that. Now what you're going to catch here is Brandy's going to be demonstrating just some normal stretches. I will be demonstrating with the PVC. If you've got that PVC or broomstick, you can go ahead and go through our normal movements, the pass-throughs. We usually would hit 10 reps of each movement. So you take that wide grip, pass that PVC behind the back, come back in front. Then we're going to move to around the world. 10 passes each direction. As you're moving through that, try to keep those elbows locked out and get that nice shoulder rotation going. Brandy's just demonstrating some different stretches on the ground. After the around the worlds with that PVC, you can also work into across the body next. Hold that PVC with that wide grip, and you're going to keep it in front of you and just start rotating at the trunk. You want to keep those feet planted, pointing forward, and just rotate side to side. After you get several passes of that in, you can prepare to hinge over at the hip and then turn that PVC side to side going up towards the ceiling. When you're done there, we can post that PVC out in front, grab towards the top. We're going to lean down through and put the ears between the biceps, sticking your butt out, feeling that nice stretch through the lats. To get a little more extension out of that, we're going to push the hip off to the right and reach off to the left with that PVC. And hold there, feeling that stretch down the side of your body. And then the opposite. You're going to push the hip to the left, push that PVC off to the right, and feel that stretch down the side. Again, if you don't have a PVC or a broomstick, you could be hitting some stretches on the floor like Brandy is. Back to that PVC. Next movement will be throwing it over the shoulder. So you take it in one hand, throw it over the same shoulder that you're holding it with. Throw that back arm up over the top with your thumb wrapped around and just hold. And then, of course, switch sides. Brandy's now transitioning to standing positions, stretching the arms out a little bit. You'll see me drop down with the PVC into our lunge. We're going to hit that nice deep lunge, push the hip nice and low. After holding that, we'll go ahead and kick that leg out so the toe is up, the heel is flat, knee is locked out, and I'm going to lean forward over that leg, trying to get a nice stretch through the hamstrings. And we'll switch to the other side, starting with that lunge. And transitioning to kicking that heel out. Hit that hamstring on the other side. All right, with that pretty much finished up, I'll grab that PVC and push up a little bit overhead while I drop into a squat. Hold that briefly and shake it off. All right, you guys, now we're going to be doing some setup to get ready for the accessory. The accessory today will be working on some things that'll help us with our deadlift. And through that, we've got a few different options. If you've got a barbell, you'll see me setting that up, and I'm going to demonstrate some barbell technique. But you'll also see Brandy setting aside a kettlebell and some dumbbells. And then we're also going to demonstrate just a body weight move that can really help with the hamstrings, the glutes, posture, positioning for a deadlift while not having to move too much weight. So what you're going to see first is I will pick up the barbell, and we're going to start with just some technique movement. So we're going to start with just a simple hip hinge. Once I get that barbell in hand, I'm going to keep that back nice and neutral. The head stays in line with the spine, and I'm going to hinge down to the knee for 5 repetitions. Once I get down to the knee and back up 5 times, I'll start adding in a little bit of a knee bend, and we'll go to mid shin like a deadlift would and hit 5 repetitions there as well. When you see me finish up there, I'm going to set the barbell down and start loading it up, while Brandy is going to come out and demonstrate a few different moves. She's going to start with the dumbbells, and we'll grab both of those dumbbells and stand up. And once she's got those dumbbells in hand, she's going to start doing the same thing. We're working with that neutral spine, head in line with the back, pushing those hips backwards so the weight goes into the back 3/4 of the feet, and no weight goes into the big toes. We should not be clawing into the ground with the toes. As you're working with those dumbbells, again, you want to make sure any weighted object we're warming up first. So light weights first, and then up to the heavier ones. Now, if you've only got one set of weights that you plan on using, just body weight good mornings would work fine to start moving those hamstrings, get you warmed up for this movement. If you've got that barbell and weights, you're going to take your time and build up to 50 to 65%. And then we're going to be going into 3 sets of 20 on the 3. Now, Brandy's also demonstrating single-handed deadlifts as well, which we call suitcase deadlifts. She'll show that with the dumbbell. And you're going to work side per side. So if we're looking for the, 3 sets of 6 to warm up or whatever it is, you're going to do that on each side. She's showing some different angles and then also showing what you could do with just one object in between the legs or that suitcase deadlift. If you wanted to hold on between the legs and do a normal style deadlift, you can. If you want to work that suitcase deadlift and stay off to the side, you can. But what you'll notice as she works that suitcase deadlift, especially with that kettlebell, is that we're really trying to keep the hips and the chest square. Fight really hard for that movement. Now, when she goes into no weight at all, what you're going to notice is that we're looking for posture here. So you're going to really broaden out the chest. We're not slouching over and reaching for the toes. You're going to keep your back straight. You're going to push the hip back just like a deadlift and then hinge down, touching the sides of your ankles. If you can touch the floor with a flat back, great. But don't round that chest down so you can hit the floor. Just stop a little higher if you need to. Now we'll come back to me with the barbell and weights now that we've got that loaded up just a little bit, and we'll pass through some warm-up reps to get that ready to go. Make sure you mind that back and posture. All right, guys, we're going to jump into our first set of 20. and set number 2. And set 3. All right, you guys, now we'll clear that stuff out of the way and go ahead and get set up for the workout today. Now, the workout we're going to do is Y to core. Many of you guys are familiar with this one, but we're still going to demo some of those movements. Just make sure everybody remembers what they are, and anybody who hasn't done this one enough, make sure you get to review those. Now, of course, you can pause this video, you can rewind it, you can double check on the movements that we're showing you. We're going to be keeping it on the board up there in the corner, but it's going to be shrunken down a little bit so we can fit the whole thing on there for us to be able to see it. So check your Wodify, get it written down, have it sitting beside you before you start that clock. Now, we do stop our timer when we're done. We'll leave it going for just a little bit while we're stretching out and cooling down, but then we stop it. So go ahead and start your own timer and make sure you keep track of this. So we get on the floor, and the first thing we're going to demo is, of course, the sit-up. Now, we've done this in the warm-up, but when we're doing sit-ups, we can either do butterfly position or we can do straight leg. Either way that you're doing that, I'd like to see you sit all the way back until your shoulders touch the floor, And then, of course, sit all the way up until your shoulders pass your hips. That is a full sit-up. We are doing crunches later on in this workout. We're not doing crunches for the sit-ups. So that's going to be that. Once you have seen that one, we're going to move on to the flutters. The flutter kicks are next. Now it says 4 count by 25, but if you just want to do 100 of them in a row, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to keep that true 4 count. After the flutters, we'll have more sit-ups, and then you'll see leg raises. Now with me up front, you're going to see me raising those legs and doing a little bit of pulse in the air, while Brandy is touching those heels completely to the floor and resting, and then she is also moving them up without the pulse. Now on the Hello Dollies, when you get to those are keeping the heels off the floor, spread eagle back together. Brandy demonstrated a single leg if you need to scale that for any reason. After that, we're going to see more sit-ups and then crunches. Now on that knee to elbow crunch, I want to move both parts of the body unless I'm scaling it. Then I'm just going to move the upper body. After that, of course, we'll see more sit-ups, and then it's the Russian twists. We go side to side, heels off the floor unless we need to scale it. Then those heels can be on the floor and you can keep moving. And after that, we're going to go ahead and finish it off with more sit-ups and flutters. Now, what we're looking for this is 25 reps per movement. And of course, on those flutters, it's 100 because it's 4 counts for those. So you're going to keep moving through that movement for 100 of those reps, and each leg going up counts. So that's how we'll count those. Russian twists, each side will count for a rep. If you've never done this one before, it's one that you might want to scale back to like 15 each, something like that, to see. It's pretty tough to get through this workout. We're shooting for, Brandy and I are going to be shooting for sub 10 definitely. And everybody else, we want you just doing your best to take as few breaks as possible. And here we go.
You've got a piece of Don't lie to me about your chance, about falling in love. What makes you happy is what makes you drown. But what you want and what makes you bad. And give me a chance to make things right, but just be honest for once in a while. It was a part of a silly joke. Well, isn't fun, it can stand no more. Don't lie to me about your chance, about falling in love. What makes you happy is what makes you drown. But what you want and what makes you bad. And give me a chance to make things right, but just be honest for once in a while. It was a part of a silly joke. Well, isn't fun, it can stand no more. Don't lie to me about your chance, about falling in love. What makes you happy, what makes you drown. But what you want and what makes you bad. And give me a chance to make things right, but just be honest for once in a while. It was a part of a silly joke. Well, isn't fun, it can stand no more.
All right, nice work. If you guys are still pushing, keep it up. We want you to finish this one out, even if you chose to do the full rep scheme. Make sure your clock is still going and keep that music pumping. We're hitting some stretches and cool down moves, obviously, as we finish this up, and we want you guys to do the same. So if you need to at this point, pause it. You can follow along with some of the stretches we do, or you can hit your own. Nice work, guys.